Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the last week of the Open.
24-3.
24.3. I've been having a hard time saying 24 every time this year because it doesn't feel like 2024 yet.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, what's the workout?
5 is terrible.
Says David, who hates thrusters.
It's 5 rounds of 10 thrusters at 95-65 and then 10 chest to bar pull-ups. Mm-hmm. And then you get a rest. Huge 1 minute rest.
1 whole minute.
And then 5 rounds of 7 thrusters at 135-95 and bar muscle ups.
And what is the time cap?
15-minute time cap. Most people are going to need it.
And what are the chances that any of us normal humans are going to finish under the time cap?
I mean, normal, like just average day-to-day CrossFitters, slim to none. I feel like we have some people that have a chance at finishing for sure, but it's a tough one. I'm pretty comfortable with pull-ups and bar muscle-ups, and I'm not going to finish. I don't think I will. I just don't think I have the capacity with the thrusters.
I think you and I are good comparison test cases here because I am good at thrusters. I am not that great at pull-ups or bar muscle-ups. And then you're the opposite where you're not that good at thrusters, but you're pretty good at pull-ups and bar muscle-ups. So how would we strategize to, in the open, play to your strengths? Yeah. What are we going to do here? Yeah. So for the person that is not that good at thrusters, but good at pull-ups and bar muscle-ups, what are you going to do?
So I'm probably going to just to save energy, I'm probably going to break up my thrusters. Even on the 95-65, I'm going to probably do 6 and 4 or 5 and 5 on those ones. And I'm going to try to pace my thrusters like I'm doing wall balls. I'm not going to like up and down and up and down and up and down super fast. I'm going to try to just move smooth and steady and just focus on breathing the whole time. And then as someone who's good at pull-ups, I'm still going to break up the pull-ups because if it was chin over bar pull-ups, I would maybe consider doing those 10s. But because it's chest to bar, there's going to be a ton of interference going into the bar muscle ups. So I know that I will struggle with and we've done workouts like this in the past where I did struggle on the bar muscle ups because of the chest to bar pull-ups. So I'm probably going to do 4-3-3 or 5 and 5 or something like that on the chest to bar just to give my lats a little bit of a break and my grip a little bit of a break. Small rest times on the pull-ups, bigger ones on the thrusters, and just try to get through it.
Like we consider that we had worked on Fran up to a Fran test in December.
Yeah.
So everybody has experienced something Fran related in the last 6 months. So this is basically Fran. It's 50 reps, but with chest to bar pull-ups. So it's a harder Fran. So as hard as you found 21:59 of thrusters and regular pull-ups, consider that it's going to feel worse.
Yeah.
The 1 minute rest is a trap.
For sure.
That's not even anything.
Yeah. I think that's a mistake that a lot of people can make because they can be like, well, you get a minute of break, but that's going to go by in a heartbeat. It's going to fly by. You're going to be like, oh, fuck already.
Yeah.
I think that the 10s make it much more manageable than the 21:15-9, but you're still going to feel fatigued. You know, the total volume is the same. And if you try to sprint it like a Fran, you're going to feel like you just did a Fran, regardless of the 21:59 or 5x10.
And not very many people that just did a Fran can 1 minute later be recovered enough to pick up a heavier barbell and do bar muscles, right? So keep that in mind in terms of what is this going to feel like?
Yeah. So when I do get to the second part, because I'm confident I'll make it to the second part, those thrusters are pretty heavy for me, but I'll probably still try to link reps where I can. We saw the one guy who was he was doing singles on those heavy thrusters. And if you have to, for sure, you do it. But a squat clean thruster is twice as hard as a thruster. So even if you can do 2 at a time, try to do 5 sets of 2. I'll try to go 4-3-3 or 5 and 5 again. But I think doing singles are just so slow and slow fatiguing.
It's only 7 reps.
Sorry, 7. Yeah. I don't have to do 4-3-3.
Yeah.
4-3 or 3-2-2.
Bonus.
And then on the bar muscle ups, I'm going to have to just kind of gauge it based on how I'm feeling. But by no means will I try to do 7 in a row. We saw the one girl who did the best of the normie people.
In the live announcement.
And I feel like she would have done way better if she didn't go unbroken on the pull-ups. If you could do 50 pull-ups in a row, I would say, sure, maybe do the sets of 10 unbroken. But if you're below being able to do 50 pull-ups in a row, I think it pays to do 2 sets early so that you can push it a little bit more in the muscle-ups because she spent so much time standing around in between doing muscle-ups. So I think it's worth, for almost, unless you're an elite level pull-up person, I think it's worth breaking up those chest to bars.
Okay, so me on the flip side.
Yeah,
Good at thrusters, love thrusters.
Yeah.
So definitely going to go unbroken there. Going to just try to breathe more than I think I need to in the first few sets. It's tempting. Hold your breath. Mm-hmm. I try to overbreathe in the first few, get a lot of oxygen going. Chest to bars and bar muscle ups, I can do them. Not good at them. My strategy in the open every year is singles.
Yeah.
One and drop. So I save myself the eccentric work of linking chest to bar pull-ups. I will say I have gotten better at them this year. I can butterfly chest to bars in decent sets of 5 to 10 now, but I am not going to do that because I know that will greatly inhibit my ability to do the bar muscle ups later. So saving the grip, saving the eccentric. My recommendation there is you set yourself up. I use a stack of mats on a shorter bar so that right when I'm on my tippy toes, I can grab the bar. So there's no jumping to the bar. So if you're a taller athlete, just choose a shorter bar. And I do one and drop straight down and one and drop straight down. Not taking my hands off the bar, but just like kip, drop. So there's just less on the hands, less on the grip. They're pretty quick, to be honest. If you can be disciplined about keeping your hands on the bar, you do have to meet the standard. You have to be hanging with your arms straight. When you go to kip, your heels have to travel behind the bar, so you're still fully meeting the standards. You can't let it turn into a jumping chest to bar pull-up.
Feet have to be off the ground to start.
Have to be off the ground to start, but you can make those very legit and still pretty quick and save yourself half the work. So feel free to hop on the singles train. Woo woo. Breathe more than you need to in the beginning. And then the 95-pound thrusters, for 7, I can do those and I might do them unbroken. I'll kind of have to go by how I'm feeling at that point. It's like the 7. The 7 has 7 sets of thrusters at that weight. And I can usually do that unbroken. And I think I maybe will because I will need the time to chip away like a slow turtle at some sad bar muscle ups.
Yeah.
So playing to my strengths there, I think I can be a little more out of breath and just buy myself more time.
Right.
Because I will just need it to chip away at the bar muscle ups. So.
Yeah. If you're strong in thrusters and you're weaker in pull-ups, you can make up time on the thrusters and you're going to recover more on those pull-ups because you're moving slower.
They'll be standing still.
If you're doing ones and resting in between bar muscle ups and stuff. Whereas if you're kind of like okay at thrusters and you're okay at bar muscle ups, you have to pull back the reins. You have to go slower than you think because you're going to need some recovery time on both of those movements. Mm-hmm. It's only the people that are like very strong at thrusters and very strong at pull-ups that can really push the speed on this workout. So by all means, if you're an elite level athlete and you're going to finish this thing, it's just how quickly. You have to sprint that first part and then you get your 1 minute rest and then you have to just go by feel on that second one.
And that's what separates the elite from the rest of us normies is that they're good at both. They don't have, strengths and weaknesses. They're broadly good across the board.
Yeah. This workout is just, it's so much worse than you think it's going to be when you get into it because like I've done 15 plus bar muscle ups in a row and post 50 chest to bar pull-ups, there's no way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even do 7 in a row in my first round. I'm going to break it up immediately. For the average CrossFitter, I think it pays to give yourself 3 seconds in between a set and just let those lats relax for a second, let your grip kind of shake out and then get back into it. Rest before you need to.
So there's been a lot of discussion in the last couple of weeks of the Open about just not like working harder than you need to.
Yeah.
When you watch a lot of people do the same workout over and over again, you just see where people are expending more energy than is needed and they make themselves more tired and therefore they can accomplish less work because they expended an unnecessary amount of energy. So where does wasted energy go in a thruster? If you get a little tipped forward. So the best position for the bar is right over the middle of your shoelaces with your feet flat on the floor.
Yeah.
If you start to tip forward of that line, it's called the frontal plane, if we wanted to get technical, so much more of your musculature has to be on tension, your back and your wrists and everything has to fight the bar from falling on the floor. So you need to keep your chest very upright. You need to turn your elbows up at the most that your flexibility will allow in front of the bar with all your fingers under the bar because you still need to have control to press it. You need to use your hips.
Yeah, you got to jump that bar off your shoulders.
You got to pop your hips, squeeze your butt. You got to fire that up with the biggest movers possible because they'll just have the most stamina. They're going to last the longest. Smaller movers, shoulders, arms, pressing, pulling muscles are going to fatigue quicker.
Yeah.
So same thing on the pull-ups. You need to pop your hips. We were doing this as skill work yesterday in the classes on Wednesday because we knew that something pull-up-y was coming this week. Toes to bar, pull-ups, or bar muscle-ups in some way. So on both movements throughout the entirety of the workout, you need to be thinking, pop your hips, squeeze your butt as aggressively as you can to take the load off the smaller muscles.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely on the hips on the thruster, especially on the bar muscle ups, but also on those pull ups, you know, use your hips early, be efficient, try not to do a lot of like flailing and stuff, right? Try to keep that hollow body positioning legit.
Keep your feet together.
Yeah, feet together. Just make big levers and use those levers to be mechanically sound.
I think what I was trying to tell people is if you don't want to work any faster, or you don't want to work any harder, you can like hack the system by just having better technique.
Yeah.
You know, and it feels like you're fooling everyone into being fitter than you are because you can accomplish more work. But it's literally, that's the way to be good at CrossFit, is to have good technique, to be in the right position, to move the least amount necessary. You know, like that's actually the ticket to good performance and good fitness. So.
Yeah. Be efficient.
Be efficient. Yeah. Don't waste energy where you don't need to. Tipping forward, having your heels off the ground in your thrusters, arcing the bar out and around your face, like having your feet come apart on your pull-ups, like all that stuff is just working harder for no extra credit, basically. So don't be giving away any of that energy for free. In terms of not doing more work than you need to, like you said, every time you drop the bar, you've added another clean to this workout.
Yeah.
So it currently only has 5 cleans in the first round because you have to pick up the bar for every set of 10. But you could make this workout have 10 cleans or 15 cleans or 20 cleans or however many more times you decide to drop the bar. So I always think, especially when I have a thruster bar on my shoulders, I'm like, I'll pause with it on my shoulders and take a couple breaths to like kind of reorganize myself if I need to. But I try to, at all costs, not put the bar on the ground.
Yeah.
Because then it seems like a break, but I actually just made more work for myself. So if you're not good at an upright squat, today may be the day to bust out the old weightlifting shoes if you have a pair of them. At the very least, do not wear the wibbly wobbly Kleenex boxes. Find the flattest, most stable pair of shoes that you own.
Yeah.
You don't need any cushioning. There's no other double unders or box jumps or anything else impacty. You need the flattest, most stable pair of shoes that you own. In the live stream, we saw the girl on the left that was doing the best. I was like, oh, she's putting a belt on for the heavy thrusters. And I was like, okay, maybe game day. It would never have occurred to me to put a belt on for thrusters at that weight, especially when you're breathing that heavy to inhibit your breathing. But if you really needed to, I suppose you could.
Yeah. I would say loose fit belt. Don't tighten it up so much that it's going to impact your breathing.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing singles.
Yeah. What other equipment should you bust out of the gym bag?
I would say hand grips for sure. If you have hand protection, wear it. This is a lot of volume, especially with the chest to bar. There's way more like swinging and pulling for people that are like working hard to get them. So I think it's worth having them if you do. My little pro tip, if you have them, but you don't really like them, is spend the first half or maybe 3/4 of the workout using them and then take them off and treat yourself to bare hands for that part. It just decreases the amount of volume on your hands and allows you to like still feel good in those rounds that you're normally going to be struggling. But if you hopefully have gotten used to them, I think it's worth wearing the whole time. I'm going to wear mine for sure.
Yeah. I have grips. I hate them. I will wear them when I have to. I can't do bar muscle ups in them. So bar muscle ups are always barehanded for me. So yeah, that'll be me. And then if you really wanted to come out completely covered in chewing gum and duct tape, you could bust out the knee sleeves, the wrist wraps, and you could just be like kitted out from head to toe. Yeah. May as well throw a headband in there.
For sure. Sunglasses.
Yeah. The whole thing. There's a difference between gaming and training. Yeah. You don't train that way with every bit of gear and equipment and belt on and a wad and all these things. But come game day and you want to play to your strengths. We're not there to train and get better. We're there to test fitness. You're going to take every advantage you can that's allowed within the rules. And if any of those things you think would help you, then by all means do them. Yeah.
Now, as far as entry level people,
the question is always, should I go RX or scaled? What should I do this week?
I think it's a good one. If you have done or are close to doing pull-ups, I think you should try to do the full thing. Yeah. Like the weight it's okay. You're going to be okay. Yeah. Even if it's few reps at a time, you can get through at least a round of the 95, 65 pound thrusters. Yeah. If you can do some chin over bar pull-ups, but you've never done a chest to bar, this is your chance. Today's now you're going to get some for sure. You know, if you're not even close to getting pull-ups, of course, do the scaled one, get an actual workout and see how far you can get. You will have a chance to do actual pull-ups towards the second half of that workout anyway. So you might as well get that first chunk in and then see if you can get your first pull-up ever in the scaled version. But if you are far away from doing a pull-up, don't worry about the RX for today. Just, do what you can in the scaled.
And then the challenge becomes do that first part and try to crush the tie break time.
Right.
So there's a challenge available for everybody at every level. First time you touch that weight, first pull-ups, first bar muscle ups, first chest to bars, whatever it's going to be. There is note to everyone doing it and judging it, a tie break time at the end of that first 5 rounds, right before the rest, which you have to note that anyway, because you need to know how long your athlete that you're judging is resting, but it's also part of the score that you'll enter as there's a tie break time.
Right. So the scaled weights for men is 65-95. Women is 45-65. It's jumping chest to bar for the first 5 rounds with a 6-inch above your head bar. And then it's full pull-ups in the second half. So they usually try to make it that the first half is quote unquote easy. And then the second half is difficult. So if you're a scaled athlete, chin over bar pull-ups are difficult, and that's the point. Same with us, bar muscle ups are difficult, and that's the point. So I think it's a good workout. I think it's going to be worse than you think. So be ready for it. It's going to be grip on grip on grip, but general overall fatigue. It's just going to be tough. So
just engine.
It's
good old engine.
Pure capacity. Your pure work capacity. Fran is just notorious for giving you that, oh my God, feeling. So it's a good end to the open.
Yeah, I always explain to people there has to be a separator.
Yeah.
And expect in the open that there will be something that you can't do.
For sure.
And they do that on purpose. That's a feature, not a bug. That part of it will be, I don't know that I would use the word easy, but maybe say like doable, accessible, because nobody's going to find this easy. And then you go into a wall of something that a big chunk of people cannot do. And then that's our separator thing. Because keep in mind, it's the open, it's worldwide. There's almost 350,000 people doing this year. They're filtering for what will eventually be crowning the fittest men and women on earth. So expect that at different points, there's like cutoffs and filters in place of things that many people cannot do that separates the fitter from the rest of us.
And as much as it's a wall, it's also an opportunity because we talked about this every year. This is the opportunity to do something you've never done before. So this might be your first pull-up, or it might be your first chest to bar, your first bar muscle up, or whatever. So don't squash the idea of trying something you haven't done before. That's why we do these types of things.
Challenge yourself. So this, I would say, is a workout where you just really have to know yourself.
For sure. I think you can't have any 1 rep maxes unless that's part of the plan. If you're working too hard for 1 rep, that rep probably isn't worth it. Let's say you're doing your set of 10 chest to bar pull-ups and you're on rep 4, and rep 5 is going to be a maximum effort. That rep isn't worth it. Drop off at 4, give yourself a second, and then jump back up again. If you're on number 9 and you've got 1 left, sure, because then you're done after that. But don't work too hard for a rep that's like right in the middle of your set.
All right, so heat times.
We're going to go 4:30, 5:15, 6 o'clock.
So 15-minute workout with some time to reset and warm up and everything and switch in the middle.
Yep. I am going to try to give the bars a little spray today. So they'll be extra grippy for us.
Yeah. So fresh bars. Protect your hands.
Yeah, protect your hands.
We got new clips too. So even if you're dropping that bar all the time, so far, those plates won't be bouncing off.
Hopefully,
it'll be nice. Yeah. Okay. So last one.
See you there, guys.
See you there.